Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to give an article titled, Men Don't Care About How Much Money Women Make. And guys, this article is written by a woman who's actually defending guys and making it clear to the gals that are angry that they can't find a guy, that guess what? Guys don't care how successful and how much money you have. For guys, that's not something that makes us generally attracted to you. And this is all about how a lot of women that obviously more and more are going to college, graduating college, actually more than guys do, and doing well in their careers, making good money, can't find a guy. And they're pissed off because they figure that, hey, guys aren't interested in them because, they're just intimidated by them. They're intimidated by them because of their job title, the kind of money they make, the kind of money they have, etc., etc. When in reality, guys are turned off by a couple major things. Number one, guys are turned off by that typical ball-busting, masculine energy attitude that these gals have to get to these high positions and be successful. It's a total turn-off because it's like having two dudes in a relationship, amongst many other things there. And two, generally these gals are extraordinarily picky. Okay, they figure, hey, I'm making all this money, I have this high title, these advanced degrees, therefore I deserve this, and this, and this. And they won't settle for any guy that is, even if a guy makes the same amount of money as they do, to them that's, beneath their standards. So that turns guys off. And so this whole article, she's defending guys and talking about this particular subject. And it's a good one here because for a lot of guys out there that, I know a lot of guys that follow me here, but whether they want to admit or not, do relationships, this is something you're going to encounter more and more as time goes on. It seems that the gals have gotten pickier and pickier, their standards have gotten higher and higher, and yet, interestingly, more are alone and complaining about it. So I'm going to get into this, and not everything she says I agree with, most things she says, but some things I don't, and I'll point that out along the way. So it starts off, she says, if he's not into you, it's not because he's intimidated by your career. Financially successful women in their late 30s and 40s often struggle in the dating scene. Although some women deeply desire a life partner, many just can't seem to find someone to settle down with long term. A common argument as to why this might be is because men are intimidated by their careers. Men feel inferior if a woman makes more money than they do. Their egos can't handle it. It makes them question their self-worth and manhood if they can't provide financially. Men need to be the breadwinners in order to feel a sense of purpose in their lives, right? Well, maybe not. There are many ways in which a man can provide for a woman. Providing for some doesn't strictly involve finances. Men can provide emotional or intellectual support. They can provide help with day-to-day life, like chores, cooking, or fixing things around the house. They can provide companionship, a shoulder to cry on, a travel buddy, or a best friend. Men can provide help and support with all sorts of things, just not with their wallets. Now that's out of the way. There are several reasons why many career women have a hard time in the dating scene. Now, I'm going to backtrack there. I read a bunch there. She was talking about all these things that men can provide emotional and intellectual support, be a travel buddy, helping out around the house, a shoulder to cry on. That's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, we know with the modern gals nowadays, if he doesn't make a certain amount of money, all that stuff doesn't matter. It is what it is. Guys, I've done stories over the last couple of years. One in particular I remember in the summertime where this girl, she broke up with her boyfriend, or pretty much, actually, he ended it with her because he overheard her talking to her sister that she pretty much felt like she got the raw deal because she was making, I believe, like $200K or $150K, and he was making like $100K a year as an architect, and she was in software. And she felt that she was getting a raw deal because he was only making $100K. Meanwhile, he was in his 20s. That's damn good, right? But because her career was helping her make more money quicker, she felt like she got a raw deal. You see what I'm talking about here? It boils down to the dollars and cents, even though that guy was a good guy to her, as you found out through that story. See what I'm talking about? So it doesn't make a difference how much emotional, intellectual support you have, amongst many other things, being the shoulder to cry on, taking care of the chores. If you're not making a certain amount of money, she felt like she got a bad deal. And for a lot of gals, if the guy in their mind, he needs to make at least what she makes. Then, okay, she's settling. Typically, it's more like the guy needs to make easily 50% more than she does or double. Then she feel like she got a prize. Because at the end of the day, the gals want to feel like they got a prize. So they want a guy that's higher up than them. The only time that's not true is if she's really masculine, and she wants to run the relationship. So then it's okay to have a guy make less than her so she can feel superior. But those are usually the effiness types that dudes don't want to be in a relationship with anyway. So I wanted to point that out. Anyhow, she's getting into this. She says here, there are several reasons why many career women have a hard time in the dating scene. There are a whole lot of reasons. Not just several, a whole lot. It says here, a man who is confident in himself and his career, whether it's particularly lucrative or not, is not going to be scared off by a woman's bank account. There are reasons why men may not want to go for a woman who values her career as the number one priority in her life, unrelated to feelings of his own inadequacy. Some men value family as their priority. This type of man knows that he has to be financially stable if he wants to have children someday. For this type of man, the top priority is not to find a wealthy woman. It's about finding a woman who will make a good mother to his kids, a woman who's willing to help him create a happy and healthy home life. For a family-oriented man, a woman who is young and excited to be a mother is more valuable than a woman who has spent the last decade or two climbing the corporate ladder with no desire for children. A lot of these gals that are on the career path and climbing the corporate ladder or starting their own companies, yeah, they're not interested in that. And you know what? If they're not interested, that's fine. That's their life. I got no problem with that. My problem is when these same types are complaining all the time that they can't find a guy and there's no good men out there insulting guys, or because guys aren't interested in them because of their personality, they then say, oh, the guys are just intimidated by a strong woman or intimidated by a successful woman. That's a bunch of crap, okay? There are plenty of dudes that think that's cool. I, for one, I don't care who you are. If you've worked hard in school and taken risks to start a business or whatever it is, how you found success, I don't care who you are. I think that's cool. I admire that. And as me personally, I wouldn't be intimidated by a woman that makes a lot of money. Hell no. Not at all. I would think that's cool, but I don't find that attractive. Okay, that's not going to be a thing that's going to be like, oh, she makes all that money. She has this, she owns her own company. She does this, she does that. Therefore, I'm attracted to her. No, it doesn't work that way. And what works is she fit? Does she have a pretty face? Does she have a nice chest? Does she have a nice ass? Is she healthy looking? Good skin? Long hair? That's what's going to attract me, okay? For your average guy, he can be a girl working the register at Target or your local grocery store in her early 20s. And if she's beautiful, he's in. If she's feminine, she's girly. But he can meet another woman that could be same age range, or let's say a little older, maybe like late 20s, and she is an attorney. But she's ball busting, she's bossy, she's controlling, and even she's pretty as well. He's turned off. Doesn't make a difference what her job is. Doesn't make a difference what kind of money she makes. So it's not that he's intimidated by her success. That's a bunch of crap. He's turned off by her personality. And not to mention those types are usually unbelievably picky. So that's why a lot of them are alone and can't find a guy, because of their high standards and because of their personality. I mean, it's like this, guys. For me, a deal breaker is fitness. I like women that are fit, take care of themselves, go to the gym. But there's a difference between a fit girl, in my opinion, versus a muscle girl. Okay? The type of girl, a female bodybuilder, if you will. I could see a girl at the gym who's a female bodybuilder. She's got muscles, like serious muscles, some veins popping out of her biceps, and I can admire that and think that's cool, because I can certainly appreciate the hard work and dedication and self-discipline at the gym with her diet to achieve that kind of physique. But I sure as hell don't find it attractive. So if she asked me out, I would turn her down because she's too jacked for me. It's unattractive. It's like physically like another dude, okay? And there are some gals that would think that, oh, you're just intimidated by a strong woman, physically strong woman. No, it's just that I'm turned off by it. You see what I mean? It's kind of the same thing with regards to the money factor, okay? Fit is one thing, but jacked with muscles and veins bulging out of the biceps, that and her back looking like a map of South Dakota, that is unattractive to me, okay? I can respect it. I can think it's cool. Let's try to make that clear, make that distinction. But women don't get this. So it's easy just to blame men and say we're just intimidated. It's a bunch of crap. Anyhow, she says here, and it's not only about a man's preferences here either. Some women only want to date a guy in the first place if he hits a certain benchmark in terms of his salary. Ding, ding, ding. Plenty of women believe that their male counterparts should make at least the same amount of money as they do, and if he doesn't, it somehow makes him seem small and less masculine in their eyes. Right there, she said it. Hit the nail right on the head. At least, bare minimum, makes what they make. Okay? That's considered to be enough. But God forbid if he makes 10 grand less, he's not worth it. But what they really want is to do that makes more. But the problem is, more and more gals are going to college and getting advanced degrees. And yes, many get them in BS subjects, but some also get them in good things in business and things like that and do well for themselves. And if they don't have a guy that makes what they make, well, I'm getting a raw deal here. But the problem is with more having a type of success, that kind of money, more and more guys are choosing not to go to college. Instead, they're choosing trades, and they can make damn good money. They may not make as much money as she is if she's an attorney or working for a corporation, doing very well. She's a high position in the company, but she may be up to her eyeballs in student loan debts. Meanwhile, the guy who took the trade, he has no debts. So his salary may be less than hers, but he has no debt. But still, it doesn't matter. And, of course, he doesn't have that degree. She says here, why would a man want to be with a woman who belittles him about how much money he makes? Exactly. Or a man who's being belittled about anything, for that matter. This isn't an issue of intimidation or a woman's career as much as a distaste for her condescending attitude. A final point to consider is basic economics. It's supply and demand, people. Career women, as financially successful as they may be, are still competing with all women for a relatively small pool of wealthy, established men. While career-first women typically want a man who is also highly career-driven, career-first men don't necessarily have the same priority when looking for a female partner. If a man is already bringing financial stability to the table, he's likely looking for other attributes in a woman. Right. Exactly. A guy that's doing extremely well for himself, a top percentage guy, it's possible he may say, you know what? I do want a woman in the same tax bracket as me. Therefore, I don't feel like, that if I get together with a gal who's very pretty and sweet and feminine and cool, but she makes way less than me, I could be at a disadvantage if she's going for me because of my money. But so he may want a gal maybe in the same tax bracket as a safe way to go. However, it's a possibility. It's going to be hard to find gals in those tax brackets that aren't ball-busting, masculine chicks. I've observed this, some can be that way at work, and then they come home, and they're with their guy who's an alpha, and they can switch it off. They can be the girl in the relationship again and go back to the office and be the ball-buster. They got to be successful. But that's rare. So if they're in a high tax bracket like the guy, excuse me, the odds are they're very masculine, have these masculine qualities to get where they are. So these are things. So ultimately, a lot of these guys end up going for the gals that are pretty and feminine and youthful, but they are anywhere close to them in the same tax bracket, and they got to be careful. So, says here, maybe he's looking for a woman who's fun, energetic, and who can make him laugh, who is spontaneous and adventurous. Maybe he's looking for a woman who enjoys a particular hobby. Maybe he's looking for a woman who shares his values. Whatever the case may be, if he finds a woman he likes and is attracted to her, he won't mind whether she is a kindergarten teacher, a cardiac surgeon, or the CMO of Amazon, as long as she has the qualities he's looking for in a partner. Whatever it might be, well-to-do men can have their pick. Of course, well-to-do women can have their pick too, but they are far less likely to pick a man who possesses lower socioeconomic status. I disagree with the whole well-to-do women can have their pick, okay? Because again, there wouldn't be this many women, 30s and up, complaining they can't find a guy if that was the case. Because if they're good-looking and have good bodies and take care of themselves, it will be easier. But if they're in the 30s and 40s, their prime has ended. Okay, they can still be damn good-looking for their age, but it's not like they were in their 20s. But again, if they are that picky, good luck. Okay? And the type of guys they want aren't going to be interested in these ball-busting types. And if these gals are in their 30s and 40s, these guys are successful and accomplished, make good money in their 30s and 40s. If they can do it, they're going to go for the chicks younger. End of story. And not so ball-busting. So round and round we can go here. At the end of the day, men have the choice. When men get to their prime in their 30s and 40s are doing well for themselves, we have the power. We got the choice. We control the keys to relationships. But just so many guys don't know this. It says, like a woman working as a software engineer for Google might not be so eager to date a security guard at Best Buy. See? Is this because the hypothetical man from Best Buy is intimidated by her career? Or is it because she thinks she deserves better? She thinks she deserves better. My money is on the latter. Final thoughts. If a man has his own money, he won't care how much a woman makes. It makes no difference to him. He is open to women from any and all financial situations as long as he's attracted to her. Yes, 100%. Back to the whole thing. A pretty girl works the cash register at Target. She's pretty, good body, good personality, feminine. Boom. He's attracted to her. It doesn't make a difference. She's making minimum wage. However, the guy obviously in the back of his mind should be smart and be wise to realize if he's making $350,000 a year and she's making $13 an hour working at Target, be aware that if you get serious with her and actually marry her, which some dudes would do, even though she's beautiful and feminine and cool, you're at a disadvantage if depending how that could go if you split up. And since the divorce rate is what it is, see what I'm talking about here? But in terms of just simply dating and hooking up and just casual or just a regular relationship, not being married, not living with her, yeah, the guy's going to go for the pretty girl works at Target or something like that because at the end of the day, that's what we're attracted to. Career, success, money, that doesn't turn us on because men are different. But women, on the other hand, sure, they like a guy that looks good, takes care of himself physically and everything, but if he's got money, he's doing well, he's got resources, he's got high status, they're attracted to that in ways that we're attracted to the looks, the body, the boobs, the ass, the hair. You get my point. But if a man doesn't have his own money, women often do care about how much he makes. Women are not as ready to open to dating less financially successful men, so instead they look for the top of the totem pole along with everyone else. The fact is this, men don't care about financially established women in the same way that women care about financially established men. 100%. And we're different that way. It's how it is. Men typically don't mind dating women with less lucrative careers. It's women who often don't want to date men who can't meet their standards. So know if you're a career woman who is having trouble finding or keeping a man, it might not be because he's intimidated by your career. He might be just put off by your attitude. Yes, 100%. Now, guys, as always, I'm going to read some comments here. These are always fun ones to read from different dudes around the world. One guy says here, there's another point that makes dating hard for women that make a lot of money, and that is they usually have to have more masculine traits to go up the corporate ladder. They are less likely to be agreeable and feminine in nature, which makes them less desirable for most men. I'm not talking about the average working woman, but those in the C-level positions. Yeah, for a lot of the gals to get where they want to be, or to get where they are, that they're obviously making a lot of money and they got that status, whatever, for climbing the corporate ladder, they have to possess these certain qualities to get there. And a lot of them can't switch it off when they leave the office. It's on all the time. And often these are masculine qualities, masculine traits, as he said here. And they're a turnoff because no straight heterosexual dude wants to be on a date with a woman that acts like another dude. It's a turnoff. The only guys that like that are feminine guys. Guys that typically grew up in a household where their mom ran the show. She was typically ball busting and tough. And the dad was, let's be honest, a pussy. And let it happen. And that's just what he's used to when he's attracted. And then these types of gals eventually, because they have no other option, settle for guys like this and complain because they can't get any real men, even though they themselves act like men. Another guy says, this is truth. I've noticed that there are a lot of career women who will discriminate against men who make less money than them. For example, a career woman will say, I don't want to date a construction worker no matter how good a guy he is, and this is where lies the problem with some women. They're not always going on character, but instead a man's career. I'm not a professional, and I have no problem dating a career woman, but many I've found aren't very feminine. See? They hate kids and are very demanding, which is a turnoff when they find out that I'm not a professional and don't want to date me anymore, which is fine with me. See? He says he's a construction worker, and I'm willing to bet you he doesn't have any massive debts to have his line of work. In fact, I'd say probably no chance of that. And he can make a lot of construction workers make damn good money, particularly with overtime and things like that. So at the end of the day, he could be having more money at the end of the day than her, but it doesn't matter. Oh, he's a construction worker. And he could be a great guy, fun to be around, cool, take charge, handsome, all that stuff. Doesn't matter. Another guy says, if you think it's okay to value men with money, just remember that prejudice goes both ways, and don't be upset when we leave you for someone younger and prettier and who hopefully also has bigger tits. Yeah, so it's okay to, it's supposedly okay for the gals to reject guys and turn them down because they don't make enough money or something like that, but we're the bad guys because we'll turn down certain gals and go for younger ones that are prettier. You see what I mean? Another guy says here, I've dated several female executives and they all told me this same thing. I was sitting there thinking, I am certainly not intimidated. It's just that you are cold and unavailable. It's just that simple. They are masculine. And the last comment real quick here, guy says, women complain they don't make as much as men. Now they complain they have to date down. I'd be fine with someone who makes more than me. Unlikely though, most women don't find me particularly attractive. So there you go, guys. That'd be a good one to cover there. And it's cool here that you have a woman writing this article and pointing out these things, because a lot of times this is something that a guy would point out, So when a woman says it, it adds a little more to it. But right there, like I said in the beginning, guys, you got these types that are successful, doing well, and they complain they can't get a guy and that no men want them. So therefore, they're intimidated by their money and their salary and their status. No, for a lot of guys, that's not the case. It's just simply, it's your personality, your traits that you have, that you possess, that obviously got you where you are, that turn us off, okay? Because no dude wants to be dating a relationship with a woman that acts like a dude, okay? They want a girl, a feminine girl. The problem is nowadays, thanks to the you-know-what movement, more and more from literally birth have been conditioned to be that way. And of course, they're also turned up by their personality in the sense that the guy could be doing well for himself, but if he's not making as much as she is, he's considered less than her and not high quality. And no guy wants to hear that or be looked upon that way. So as long as these attitudes and these traits continue, these gals at the top that do well for themselves, and again, I respect anybody who does well for themselves, they're going to be alone. And they're going to be the ones complaining, writing articles. There's no good men out there. Or men are intimidated. They'll be starting YouTube channels, doing videos, complaining about that. Doing TikTok videos or whatever the hell it is, But that will always give me material to do on this channel. And we'll all find it interesting and get a good laugh. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys, for you guys that date, and be honest here, have you encountered this? Have you had situations like this when, because of your job or your career, that women don't give you the time of day, even though you do well for yourself, but because of your title, whatever that may be, they're not giving you the time of day? I'd like to hear about that. I'd also like to hear about, guys, have you ever been out with these types where just their personalities turned you off? That maybe they were pretty, good body, pretty face, but just you could tell they possess these masculine qualities that turned you off and repelled you. I want to hear about it because this definitely will help people by hearing these things. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.